When you feel ignored, it's easy to question your worth. You might find yourself spiraling into thoughts like, what did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? But pause for a moment and ask yourself this: who am I living for? Is it for the fleeting attention of others, or is it for the deep sense of purpose and value that only you can define for yourself? Your value is not determined by someone's ability or inability to see it. It's inherent, rooted in your existence and the unique combination of strengths, dreams, and flaws that make you who you are. When you let someone's indifference dictate how you see yourself, you hand over your power. You shrink the beautiful, multifaceted person you are into the limited perspective of someone who may not even truly know you. Respect begins within. If you don't honor your own value, you can't expect others to do it for you. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect. It's about holding yourself to a standard that says, I will not beg for the attention of someone who cannot see my worth, because my value doesn't need their validation. When you stop chasing, you send a powerful message not just to others but to yourself. You affirm that your time, energy, and emotional investment are precious. You remind yourself that you deserve relationships, opportunities, and environments where your presence is celebrated, not overlooked. Think about the energy you spend trying to convince someone to care, to notice, to respond. What if you redirected that energy into nurturing yourself? Into building the life you want? Into pursuing the dreams that light a fire in your soul? Suddenly, their indifference becomes irrelevant, and your value shines brighter than ever. No one can take away what's intrinsically yours: your strength, your ambition, your beauty, your mind, and your heart. These are treasures. And treasures don't chase, they are discovered by those who recognize their worth. So when you're ignored, don't chase. Instead, stand firm, hold your head high, and let your value speak for itself. Respect is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, whether it's personal, professional, or casual. It's not something you beg for, barter, or force. It's something that flows naturally when two people see and honor each other as equals. When someone ignores you, it's often a sign that they don't value the connection in the way that you do. And as hard as that might be to accept, it's a truth that can set you free. True respect is never one-sided. It requires an exchange, a give and take that acknowledges the worth and dignity of both parties. When you're the only one reaching out, making an effort, or seeking attention, the balance is lost. You're effectively pouring your energy into a void, hoping for a response that might never come. And in doing so, you're disrespecting yourself. Chasing someone who ignores you sends a message, not just to them but to yourself: I'm willing to compromise my own self-worth for your attention. But think about it, would you want a connection built on that kind of dynamic? One where you constantly have to prove your value, while the other person gives you the bare minimum. That's not respect. That's imbalance. Respect also means knowing when to walk away. It's about recognizing when someone's actions or lack thereof are telling you everything you need to know. If someone consistently ignores you, they're showing you where you stand in their priorities. And as painful as that might be, it's an opportunity for clarity. It's a chance to redirect your energy toward people and spaces that genuinely value you. That relationships built on mutual respect are uplifting. They're the ones where both parties invest, listen, and show up for each other. They don't leave you guessing or doubting your worth. They're steady, affirming, and rooted in reciprocity. That's the standard you deserve, not because you have to demand it, but because respect is your baseline. So when someone ignores you, take it as a moment to reflect. Are you chasing their validation at the expense of your own dignity? Or are you standing firm in the belief that you are worthy of being seen, heard, and valued just as you are? Respect isn't just about how others treat you, it's about how you demand to be treated by refusing to settle for less. Silence has a language all its own. It communicates what words often fail to express, and it carries a weight that can be louder than any spoken response. When someone ignores you, their silence isn't empty, it's full of meaning. It reveals priorities, intentions, and often truths we may not want to confront. Understanding this language requires listening not just with your ears, but with your intuition and self-awareness. When someone chooses silence, it's a deliberate act. It's their way of saying, I don't have the time, energy, or interest to engage. It's not always malicious. Sometimes people are distracted, overwhelmed, or dealing with their own struggles. But when silence becomes a pattern, it's no longer about circumstance, it's about choice. And choices reveal where you truly stand in someone's life. Think about the effort it takes to acknowledge someone, a reply, a call, a simple gesture. It's not complicated, but it does require a level of care and respect. When that effort isn't made, their silence is telling you something. It's saying, this connection isn't my priority right now. And while that truth can sting, it's also liberating. It frees you from the illusion of chasing something that isn't reciprocated. Your reaction to silence matters too. Often we're tempted to fill the void, sending another message, making another call, trying harder to get a response. But in doing so, we undermine our own voice. We let their silence dictate our actions, instead of recognizing it for what it is, a sign to pause, reflect, and sometimes to step back. Silence can also be a mirror. It forces you to confront your own fears of rejection, inadequacy, or being unimportant. But here's the thing, their silence isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their ability or inability to value and nurture the connection. And that distinction is crucial. Instead of chasing after an answer, let silence teach you. Let it guide you toward people who don't make you question your importance. Let it remind you of the strength in stillness, in choosing not to react, in preserving your energy for relationships that truly matter. Silence, when embraced, can also be your power. By not chasing, you create a space that speaks volumes about your self-respect. It says, I am here, I am enough, and I will not diminish myself to fit into someone else's narrative. Their silence might close one door, but your strength and dignity will open another, a door to connections that are genuine, mutual, and fulfilling. When you chase after someone who ignores you, you give away a part of yourself, your dignity, your energy, your confidence. You allow their actions, or lack thereof, to define how you feel about yourself. But the truth is, your power doesn't belong to anyone else. It's yours to own, protect, and reclaim. Reclaiming your power starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing their indifference as a rejection, see it as redirection. Their silence or lack of effort is not about your inadequacy, it's a reflection of where they are and what they value. And that's okay, because their inability to see your worth doesn't diminish it. You are still whole, still worthy, and still powerful. Power is not about control or dominance, it's about alignment with your own worth. When you stop chasing, you stop putting someone else on a pedestal they haven't earned. You stop giving them the power to dictate your mood, your confidence, and your sense of belonging. Instead, you take back the energy you've been pouring into them and reinvest it in yourself. Think about what happens when you reclaim your focus. The time and energy you spend wondering why they're ignoring you or strategizing how to get their attention can now be used to build your dreams, nurture relationships that truly matter, and grow into the best version of yourself. You shift from being reactive, constantly responding to their lack of effort, to being proactive, creating a life that reflects your values and priorities. Reclaiming your power also means setting boundaries. It's about saying, I deserve relationships that are mutual, respectful, and nurturing. I will not settle for less. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters that help protect your emotional well-being and ensure that the people in your life align with your worth. When you choose not to chase, you reclaim something far more valuable than their attention, your peace. You rediscover the strength that comes from knowing you don't need external validation to feel complete. Your power lies in your ability to walk away, to let go, and to trust that what's meant for you will never require you to compromise your self-respect. There's a certain magnetism that comes with reclaiming your power. People are drawn to confidence, to those who know their worth and refuse to settle. When you stand firm in who you are, you send a clear message: I am whole, I am strong, and I will not diminish myself for anyone. And in doing so, you attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that honor your true self. When someone ignores you, it's easy to fixate on them, what they're thinking, why they're distant, or how to win them back. But here's the truth: the energy you spend chasing external validation is energy you could be investing in your own growth. Focusing on self-growth isn't just a distraction from being ignored, it's a deliberate choice to prioritize your journey over someone else's indifference. Self-growth starts with reflection. When you're no longer chasing after someone, you create space to ask yourself the deeper questions: what do I truly want? What areas of my life need nurturing? How can I grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? This isn't about blaming yourself for their behavior, but about using the situation as a catalyst to elevate yourself. Think about the goals you've put on hold, the skills you've wanted to learn, or the dreams you've postponed. When you're caught up in chasing someone, these aspirations often take a back seat. Now is the time to bring them to the forefront. Redirect your energy into something that enriches you, something that builds your confidence and aligns with your purpose. Focusing on self-growth doesn't just benefit you, it transforms how others see you. When you invest in becoming the best version of yourself, you radiate a confidence and resilience that's undeniable. It's a quiet power that says, I'm not defined by who notices me, I'm defined by the work I put into myself. That kind of energy is magnetic. This process also involves healing. Being ignored can sting, and it's okay to acknowledge those feelings. But instead of letting the hurt control you, channel it into growth. Read books that challenge your perspective. Seek out mentors or communities that inspire you. Take up habits that strengthen your mind and body, whether it's journaling, exercising, or learning a new skill. Each small step you take toward growth is a step away from the emotional weight of being ignored. Growth isn't just about external accomplishments, it's also about internal transformation. It's about learning to love yourself fully, flaws and all. It's about developing the resilience to stand tall even when others don't acknowledge you. It's about building a life so rich and fulfilling that someone else's indifference becomes irrelevant. When you focus on self-growth, you shift the narrative. Instead of being the person waiting for attention, you become the person who commands respect not because you demanded it, but because you earned it by prioritizing yourself. And that is the most powerful way to respond to being ignored, not with desperation, but with transformation. Setting boundaries is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself when you feel ignored. Boundaries are not about pushing people away or building walls, they're about creating a framework that protects your emotional health and ensures that your relationships are balanced, respectful, and meaningful. They're a declaration of your worth and a safeguard for your well-being. When someone repeatedly ignores you, it's tempting to overextend yourself, sending more messages, trying harder, or bending over backward to get their attention. But this behavior often comes at a cost. It drains your energy, diminishes your confidence, and leaves you feeling undervalued. Setting boundaries is your way of saying, I will not allow someone else's actions to dictate my self-worth or peace. Boundaries start with clarity. Take a step back and assess the situation honestly. Is their behavior a one-time oversight, or is it a pattern? Are you making excuses for their silence, or are you recognizing it for what it is? Understanding the dynamics helps you decide where to draw the line. Boundaries are not arbitrary, they are intentional and rooted in your needs and values. Once you've identified the boundary, the next step is communication. Sometimes people don't realize the impact of their actions until it's addressed. This doesn't mean confronting them with anger or frustration, but rather expressing your feelings calmly and clearly. You might say, I value our connection, but I also need mutual effort and respect. If that's not possible, I understand, but I can't keep overextending myself. This type of dialogue is not about blame, it's about respect both for them and for yourself. However, not all boundaries need to be spoken aloud. Sometimes they're about actions, not words. Choosing to stop chasing someone who ignores you is a boundary in itself. It's a silent but powerful way of asserting, I will not compromise my dignity for attention. The beauty of boundaries is that they free you. They allow you to protect your emotional energy, focus on relationships that reciprocate your effort, and let go of situations that don't serve you. They're not about controlling others, but about controlling how you respond to others. Boundaries also teach people how to treat you. When you respect yourself enough to set limits, you signal to the world that you won't tolerate being undervalued. It's a way of saying, I deserve effort, care, and respect, and I will not settle for less. Most importantly, boundaries are a form of self-love. They remind you that your peace is priceless, your time is valuable, and your worth is non-negotiable. When you set boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself from harm, you're creating the conditions for growth, respect, and fulfillment in your life. And that's a gift you owe to yourself, no matter how others choose to act. When someone ignores you, it's natural to feel rejected. That sting of silence can cut deep, leaving you questioning your worth or what went wrong. But what if you saw it differently? What if, instead of rejection, it was redirection? What if the closed door wasn't a punishment but a blessing, guiding you toward something better? Life has a way of steering us toward where we're meant to be, even if the journey feels uncomfortable. When someone doesn't respond to your efforts, it's not necessarily about you. Often it's about them, their priorities, their limitations, or their inability to see the value you bring. And while their silence may feel personal, it's often life's way of saying, this isn't your path. Trust me, there's something better ahead. Think about the opportunities, relationships, or experiences you've clung to in the past, only to realize later that they weren't meant for you. Maybe it was a job you didn't get that led to a better one. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, making space for someone who truly valued you. In hindsight, what once felt like rejection became one of the best things that ever happened. This perspective isn't about denial, it's about trusting the bigger picture. Redirection isn't passive, it requires action. It's about taking that energy you would have spent chasing someone who ignores you and channeling it into something productive, meaningful, and aligned with your goals. Instead of asking, why don't they care? Ask yourself, what can I create, build, or achieve right now that serves my purpose? By shifting your focus, you reclaim control over your narrative. It's also a chance to reevaluate what you deserve. Being ignored doesn't diminish your worth, but it does shine a light on whether the connection aligns with your values. Do you want relationships where you're left guessing, or do you want connections built on mutual respect and effort? Redirection is the process of realigning yourself with people and opportunities that match your standards. Remember, rejection is often a reflection of incompatibility, not inadequacy. Just because someone doesn't see your worth doesn't mean you're any less valuable. Their silence might simply mean they're not equipped to meet you where you are, and that's okay. The beauty of redirection is that it leads you toward people and situations that do. This isn't about closing yourself off to new connections, it's about letting go of what's not working to make room for what will. It's about trusting that the universe, God, or whatever you believe in is guiding you, even if the path feels unclear. When you embrace redirection, you stop seeing closed doors as losses and start seeing them as detours to something greater. So the next time someone ignores you, pause. Don't chase, don't cling, and don't question your worth. Instead, trust the redirection. Trust that the silence isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of a better chapter, one where you're surrounded by the people and opportunities that truly deserve you. Confidence is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It doesn't shout or beg for attention, it quietly asserts itself, radiating strength, assurance, and self-respect. When someone ignores you, it's easy to let insecurity creep in, making you feel unworthy or inadequate. But that's the moment to anchor yourself in confidence, because confidence is not only empowering, it's magnetic. True confidence comes from within. It's not dependent on external validation or the approval of others. It's the belief that you are enough as you are, regardless of whether someone chooses to acknowledge you. When you carry yourself with confidence, you send a clear message: I know my worth, and I don't need anyone else to define it for me. That kind of energy is irresistible, not because it demands attention, but because it inspires respect. When you stop chasing those who ignore you, you reclaim your confidence. You remind yourself that you don't need to seek what isn't freely given. You become someone who draws people in naturally simply by being authentic and self-assured. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretense, it's about owning your value without apology. Think about the people who inspire you. Chances are they aren't the ones desperately seeking approval. They're the ones who walk into a room with quiet assurance, who speak with conviction, and who live unapologetically in alignment with their values. Confidence isn't loud, it's steady. It doesn't try to convince, it simply is. This magnetism works because confidence creates a sense of security. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't waver based on the opinions of others. When you stand firm in your self-worth, you give others permission to do the same. Your presence becomes a source of inspiration and strength. Building confidence takes practice. It starts with how you treat yourself, speaking kindly to yourself, celebrating your achievements, and forgiving your mistakes. It grows when you step out of your comfort zone, take risks, and prove to yourself what you're capable of. Every time you honor your worth, you strengthen your confidence. Confidence also comes from setting boundaries. When you decide not to chase after someone who ignores you, you're making a powerful statement: I respect myself too much to beg for someone's attention. This act of self-respect not only preserves your dignity but also reinforces your belief in your own value. The beauty of confidence is that it's self-sustaining. The more you trust in yourself, the less you need external validation. And ironically, the less you seek approval, the more others are drawn to you. Confidence creates a gravitational pull, attracting people and opportunities that align with your energy. So when someone ignores you, don't shrink or question your worth. Instead, stand tall. Let their silence be a reminder to focus on your inner strength and self-assurance. Confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. And when you embody it, you become a magnet for the respect, love, and recognition you truly deserve. When someone ignores you, don't chase. It's a moment to realign with your worth and priorities. Value yourself by recognizing that your self-worth isn't tied to their attention. Respect is mutual, and if they can't offer it, it's your cue to step back and protect your dignity. Silence speaks volumes. Let their inaction reveal their intentions, and respond with calm strength. Reclaim your power by redirecting energy inward and focusing on what truly fulfills you. Embrace self-growth as a chance to better yourself and build the life you deserve. Set boundaries to protect your emotional well-being and communicate your standards with clarity and grace. See rejection as redirection, a guide toward better connections and opportunities aligned with your values. Finally, carry yourself with confidence. Your unshakable belief in your worth is magnetic, drawing the respect and relationships you truly deserve. In choosing not to chase, you affirm this truth: you are enough, and the right people will always recognize that without you having to prove it.